Hey everybody, it's Scott Wall with Dairy Management Incorporated. I'm so happy to bring you another one of our video discussions with some of our Checkoff leadership. And today I am joined by Lori Captain. Lori serves as Executive Vice President of Global Sustainability, Strategy, Science, and Industry Affairs. She joined the Checkoff back in July and is really leading that whole movement in the sustainability arena. Lori, welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Scott. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I know we've got a lot to talk about this morning, so let's go ahead and dive in. One of the first questions is, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit to the dairy farmers? Tell us a little bit about your background and what made joining the Checkoff so appealing to you.
Great. Thanks, Scott. As you mentioned, I joined in July, and I have, let's say, 25 years of experience in the agriculture industry. Even more experience in the sustainability space. It's been a thread through my all of the positions that I've held throughout my career. I was working for most of my career at the front end of the ag process, the ag inputs, crop protection and seed products, and have worked with DuPont, Corteva, Syngenta, and again, sustainability being a significant thread of work through that process. When you ask me why am I interested, or why was I interested in coming to work at Dairy Management Inc., I was super impressed with the fact that this industry has put a stake in the ground and set goals. Less about all the specifics about the goals, but just the fact that as an industry, we put a stake in the ground and we made some decisions about help moving sustainability forward. I don't know of any other industry that's done that. I know of companies that have done that, but certainly no other industry. And I think that really positions dairy to have a seat at the table to help shape the direction of how we're going to achieve those sustainability goals. And that was something I was excited to be a part of.
That's so great to hear you had those observations long before joining the dairy industry. So with that great background of yours you just shared, what is your definition of sustainability?
Well, when I get asked that question a lot, and a lot by farmers, and I'd like to start by talking about what farmers' definition of sustainability is, because I think that's the center of where we need to be focused. And I've spent some time on farms. I've looked at a lot of research from farmers, and almost to a person, what we hear from farmers is that sustainability to them is the ability to pass on their farm to the next generation. And that's always been probably the farmer's definition of sustainability. Now, how they do that has evolved over time. And I think that sustainability and improving your environmental footprint is one of the pieces of the puzzle in having the ability to pass your farm on to the next generation. And what we're doing here at DMI and across the Checkoff is really trying to help farmers with a pathway to do that in an economically viable manner so that they can pass their farms off to the next generation.
Absolutely. Now that you've had a couple of months to get settled in, what are some of the early goals and projects that you're working on that you can share?
Well, there's a couple that I'm really excited about. One is really getting our arms around the whole carbon accounting issue. And there's a lot of different folks that are working on that. The Innovation Center has some great work going on, Nutrient, the US DEC, and NPF. A lot of groups have a lot of work going on in this space, and really coming together as an enterprise, understanding that landscape, understanding what it could mean for farmers, making sure that we're doing the research to help find those technologies that will help farmers on this path to improve their footprint, but also be able to capture revenue from the work that they're doing, and to be able to do that, in an economically attractive way. So we're doing work on, again, understanding the landscape, understanding, what's going on in the regulatory space and with the governing bodies. Now, DMI can't lobby or do advocacy, but we can do research to help understand the facts and what it would take to make this an economically attractive option for our farmers to make these reductions. So that's a major project, and I think there's a lot of interest in that. with our farmers across the United States. Secondly, we're really looking at the research and making sure that we are doing two things, that we're advancing on-farm technology capability for farmers large and small, and that that we are getting that information in the hands of farmers. So we're working with our research team and making sure that we're doing that. We're working to go to a more regional approach in the US, recognizing that geographies and circumstances are very different in different parts of the country, and making sure that we're working on developing solutions that are not one size fits all, but that work in different places. And that we've got a comprehensive communications package for farmers, for thought leaders, for others about the work that we're doing, and making sure that the dairy industry is recognized for the leaders that we are.
You know, one of the cornerstone strategies of the Checkoff is partnerships to bring other people's money, resources, expertise to the table. Sustainability certainly is no different. Can you talk a little bit about how important that will be to you to search for those partnerships who can help dairy farmers in this endeavor?
Yeah. Partnerships are absolutely essential. And particularly if we're going to have a value chain approach to the work that we're doing, which I think is needed if we're going to achieve the goals that we need as an industry, but also to help bring the investment that farmers need to make these new technologies that help improve the footprint attractive. So it's a significant part of what we're going to do. And I think a good data point is that we have recently hired a new senior vice president for environmental research. His name is Tim Kurt, an excellent background, and also had worked at FAR and had been one of the architects, along with our other scientist, Juan Tricaro, on the Greener Cattle Initiative, which is really looking at addressing enteric methane issues with the cow. He has extensive experience in partnerships. It's one of the reasons he was a preferred candidate, was because of the belief that he can help us identify and bring more partnerships to life. We want to look in unusual places. So we're looking with NGOs. There's obviously a lot of money coming out of the US government right now with the Inflation Reduction Act and the Greener Climate Initiative. So there's a lot of opportunity there, and we're going to look to try to capture it wherever we can.
You know, earlier in the conversation, you referenced having a chance to meet with some dairy farmers. You went on a little bit of a dairy farm tour and had a chance to really get out to the farms, speak with the farmers. What were those experiences like for you, and what'd you come back with from those visits?
Yeah. Well, I have been in, as I mentioned, in agriculture for a number of years, and I've always said the days on the farm are the best days. And you get to spend time with farmers, understand what's working, what's not working, and where you can try to help make a difference. And I think nowhere is that truer than with a dairy farm. So I've learned so much about in the last few months about how hard dairy farmers work. It's different than in some of the other parts of the ag industry. The days are long. But what I've also learned, I visited small farms as small as 45 cows. I visited large farms with several thousand cows and a few in between. I visited organic. I visited conventional. I visited farms that are diversified in terms of what they're addressing with poultry and crops. And I visited those that are very specific to dairy. So I visited a lot of different farms. What I learned was that everybody was doing something to improve their sustainability performance and their environmental performance. It was not the same. It looked different in different farms, but everybody was finding a way to do something and to do it in a way that made their farm more efficient and helped them to, improve their revenue. So what I really came away from that experience with is that everybody has a role to play, and everybody can do something to help. Nobody has to do everything. Nobody can do everything. There is no one size fits all. It's going to look different in different farms in different parts of the country and in different sizes. But everybody has a role to play. And I think DMI's role is to help find and identify and verify those technologies that can help different farms of all sizes improve their performance in a way that's economically viable, and to help bring some of those partnerships to the table.
Couldn't agree with you more about it. There's nothing quite like a day on the farm. I think every time we go, we always come back with new insights and learnings. Well, Lori, thank you so much for your time this morning. It's really great to catch up with you and hear a lot more about your goals and visions. I'm excited to work with you. For dairy farmers who want to learn more about their dairy checkoff, please visit usdairy.com. Thank you.